Hello Year 2, welcome to Wednesday's English video. Today we are going to start our writing all about how attitudes to recycling have changed over time. So you will need your plan from yesterday. So if you haven't done yesterday's English, I would pause this video and go back and complete your plan so you can use it for today's. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so make sure you have got your plan from yesterday because you are going to need that. And today we are going to be writing the make, do and mend section. So our report is all about how attitudes to the environment have changed over time. So that can be our title. How attitudes towards looking after the environment have changed over time. That is a very long title. Okay, pause the video so you can write the title too. And the first section that we are writing today is make, do and mend. So that can be our subheading. Make, do and mend. And I'm going to underline it with a ruler. There we go. Okay, so pause the video so you have got your subtitle too. So looking at my plan, I'm going to choose one of these to start my first sentence. So I've got either a long time ago, in the past, or when my nan was little. I think I'm going to start with in the past. In the past, people didn't have very much money and things were in short supply. That means there weren't lots of things in the shops. You couldn't just go and buy everything you wanted. Now I'm going to extend this sentence with a conjunction. So I'm going to take out my full stop and I'm going to write so, that's my conjunction, people, that's a year 2 word, so make sure you spell that correctly. So people had to make do with the things they already had or mend them when they were broken. Full stop. So I'm going to look at my plan and choose one of these things to write about. And I think I'm going to write about sewing clothes. That's going to be my first sentence. When their clothes, that's a another year 2 word, clothes. Make sure you spell that one correctly if you use that in your writing. When their clothes got too small, they were often turned into something new. For example, a man's coat might have been turned into a skirt. How skillful they must have been. How skillful they must have been. What type of sentence is that? And what punctuation do I need at the end? That's right, it's an exclamation sentence, so it needs an exclamation mark. How skillful they must have been. So I'm going to look back at my plan and decide what I want to write about next. We've already done sewing clothes. I'm going to tick it so I know I have written about it. You could do that on your plan as well. The next thing I'm going to write about is mending toys, and I'm going to choose one of these to start my sentence. I'm going to choose when my nan was little. When my nan was little, she had to look after her precious toys. I chose the word precious to describe the toys. That's my adjective. And I'll put a full stop at the end of my sentence. When she grew out of playing with something, it was passed on to someone younger. So there's another conjunction. So they could enjoy it too. Full stop. Now I wonder if I can add an adverb. We learnt about adverbs a few weeks ago. They are ly verbs and they tell us how something happens. So when she grew out of playing with something, it was passed on to someone. I'm going to put an adverb in here. I'm going to go for lovingly. It was lovingly passed on to someone younger so they could enjoy it too. Toys were also mended if they got broken. Full stop. And there's another conjunction to extend that sentence. So So I have written about this one now, and the next thing I'm going to write about is the newspaper used for toilet roll. A long time ago, some people reused newspaper newspaper as toilet roll. I'm going to put an exclamation mark because I think that's quite surprising. The person reading this might not have known that, and it's an interesting fact. So, a long time ago, some people reused newspaper as toilet roll. I think that would feel rough on your skin. And I'll put another exclamation mark for that bit as well. So I have chosen 3 things to write about in my make, do and mend section. If you want to write about more than 3, that is absolutely fine, but I've just chosen 3 to show you as an example. So pause the video now and write your make, do and mend section. So thinking back to the beginning, make sure you start with your title and subheading, which you should have already written. And then you can start writing your sentences. Okay, off you go. Welcome back. So you should have all written your make, do and mend section now. If you haven't, pause the video again and make sure you have written it before you watch the rest. So I would like us all to have a look at our how. This is how we can be successful at writing a chronological report. The word chronological means in time order, which is why we've written the make, do and mend section today, because that's the piece of information from the furthest back in time, and then we'll go through time all the way up until the present day. So the first thing that we need to do to write a successful chronological report is a title. So can you all check that you have got a title? Here is mine up here. So can you all check that you have got a title? And if you have, you can give yourself a tick in the me column. Okay, the next thing to look for is a subheading. Now, so far, you will only have one subheading, but as you finish this piece of writing over the next few days, you will have some more. So far, I have got one subheading here of make, do, and mend. So I'm actually going to start a tally. So I've got one subheading so far, so I'm going to put a little 1 marker to show that I've done 1. Okay, the next part is facts. Now, I don't think you will have been able to write this without facts. So I'm sure you have used lots of the things that you have learnt from the history lessons, and maybe some facts that people in your family have told you about when they were younger. So if you have used some facts, you can give yourself a tick. Right, the next thing on the list is the correct tense. Now, throughout this whole piece of writing, your tense might change a little bit, but in the make, do, amend section, it is all going to be written in the past tense because it's things that have already happened. It's things that happened a long time ago. It's not things that happen now. So make sure that everything you've written so far is in the past tense. But then as we write the next section, so as you write your throwaway society and your environmentally conscious sections, tomorrow and the day after, you might move into the present tense. Okay, so just make sure the tense is correct for the right section. So I can give myself a tick. Right, the next one is conjunctions. So let's have a look to see which conjunctions I have used in mine. So here is a list of the conjunctions that we use a lot in year 2. So let's see what I have used. In the past, people didn't have very much money and things were in short supply, so people had to make do with the things they already had or mend them when they were broken. Goodness me, there's lots in here. So we've got or and when. And actually, so is a conjunction. It's not on this list, but it is another one that we use a lot in year 2. Let's keep reading. When their clothes got too small, they were often turned into something new. So I've started this sentence with a conjunction. You can't use all of them at the beginning of a sentence, but when and if, it's quite clever if you can use those to start your sentence. For example, a man's coat might have been turned into a skirt. How skillful they must have been! When my Nan was little, she had to look after her precious toys. When she grew out of playing with something, it was lovingly passed on to someone younger, so they could enjoy it too. Toys were also mended if they got broken. A long time ago, some people reused newspaper as toilet roll. I think that would feel rough on your skin. So can you pause the video and now have a look to see what conjunctions you have used? Welcome back. So you could do a tally of all the conjunctions you have used. I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in mine. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Super. Okay, correct spelling. Now this is one that an adult might have to help you with, but the types of words I'm looking for you to spell correctly are the year 2 words, so the words on the year 2 word list, and words that you can sound out, words that you have already learnt the sounds for. Okay, so moving on to the bottom section, this is the greater depths section. So this is if you think you can do a piece of writing that is just a little bit better. It's got greater depth, it's more interesting for the person reading it. So the first thing is to include your opinion. So that means what you think about something. I have used my opinion here at the bottom where I have said, I think that would feel rough on your skin. So that's telling the reader what I think. That's not a fact, that is my opinion. So pause the video and see if you have used your opinion anywhere in your writing. Welcome back. The next thing to look for is adverbs. So these are the words that end in ly. I'm going to look for how adverbs. You will also have some time adverbs as well. So you can look for both of them. Let's have a look to see what I've got. So my first time adverb is in the past. That tells you when something happened. People didn't have very much money and things were in short supply, so people had to make do with the things they already had or mend them when they were broken. When their clothes got too small, they were often turned into something new. For example, a man's coat might have been turned into a skirt. How skillful they must have been. When my Nan was little, so that is my time adverbial phrase here. When my Nan was little, that's telling me when something happened. And the other time adverb that I have got is a long time ago. Okay, that tells us when something happened. Now I'm going to look for my ly adverbs, my how adverbs. So I added one in here. Lovingly. That's my ly word. When she grew out of playing with something, it was lovingly passed on to someone younger. So far I have used 3 time adverbs and only 1 how adverb, 1 ly adverb. So I know that when I write the next section, when I write the part tomorrow, that's something that I can focus on. I can try and use some more adverbs that have ly in them. Okay, the next one, different sentence types. Now I know I used an exclamation sentence. Here it is. How skillful they must have been. Remember, exclamation sentences always start with what or how, and they have a verb, which makes it a sentence, and they end with an exclamation mark. How skillful they must have been. So we know there are 4 sentence types. So I've got an exclamation sentence. I've got statements, because there are statements all the way through. A statement is just a normal sentence, but I haven't yet included a question. So I could do this to remind myself. Ooh, that way. I haven't yet included a question, and I haven't yet included a command. That's one of those bossy sentences. Okay, so that's something I might think about when I'm carrying on with my writing tomorrow. And the last thing on the list is an expanded noun phrase. Now that just means when you use an adjective to describe a noun. So something like the blue butterfly or the heavy box. So I'm going to have a look to see if I have used any of those in my writing. Here is an example of an expanded noun phrase, precious toys. So precious is the adjective that describes toys, which is the noun. Okay, so I've only got one in here, so I'm going to see if I can add some more. So I'm going to edit my writing now to see if I can add some adjectives. So I need to think of some of the nouns that I have used that I can describe. So I've got coat here. For example, a man's coat might have been turned into a skirt. How can I describe the coat? I'm going to say a warm coat. So I'm going to just do a little arrow and write warm. Or warm. A warm coat. And at the bottom here I have used newspaper as my noun, and I'm going to describe the newspaper with the colours of newspaper, which is black and white. Black and white. A long time ago, some people reused black and white newspaper as toilet roll. I think that would feel rough on your skin, so I have described the newspaper. So pause the video and just have a look through for any of those things, and you can underline them like I have done, just so you can see them clearly in your writing. So that's all of the things on the list. You will have some things already ticked, some things might be completely blank, and some things like me, I've left blank because I know I've kind of started it, but I don't really feel like I've done it enough yet. So those are the things that you can focus on when you do your writing tomorrow, okay, when you write the next section. So that is the end of today's English video. Well done for writing your first section. So tomorrow and the day after, just follow the same structure. Use your plan, choose what you're going to write about, put it into sentences, write a few sentences about each thing, tick it off when you've done it, and then move on to your next section. I can't wait to read some of these from my class, and I know Miss Meikle would love to read some of your reports as well. So when you have finished, it would be lovely if you could send them into our class email addresses so we can have a read. Good luck, bye!